Just taking a sip of tea. My my habit. Hello, Terry TV. Welcome to Terry TV. Terry Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer here. I've been in Ghostbusters, Men in Black, etc., etc., etc. Forgive me, folks. Today is my dad's back in the hospital, so the phone is by my side again. I apologize if you hear dinging, and if it rings and it's the doctor's, I'm going to have to answer it. Uh, so you saw today on Terry's TV, we're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day, and we're going to talk about how interesting it is that Valentine's Day is the day for love because Saint Valentine didn't have a really good life, right? So it's kind of interesting, scary, whatever. Anyway, look it up because I'm not going to make it about that today. I'm going to make it about love and joy and fun and excitement. So, one of the things I saw in the news was that many of you out there, or many folks out there, are planning on getting married on Valentine's Day. It sounds like a great idea. And if this is your wedding day, whether you're zipping over to Las Vegas or you're zipping to a courthouse and making it quick, or you have a big day planned, I am going to recommend to you, if you have a big day planned, you can't really change it. But for those of you, think again. All right. I have so many friends, and feel free to post in the comments over here if you disagree with me. Okay. As always, don't attack the person, attack the idea. And I'm more than happy to have a friendly debate with you. But one of the things that I really wanted to say to you is the 14th is really the wrong day to celebrate Valentine's Day. And the reason for this is because prices can double or triple. It's very hard to get a reservation. It's never an economical situation. Sometimes it is, but it also actually, if you've tried to send flowers, like I wanted to send flowers, uh, I wanted to make sure that certain, like my mother-in-law got flowers, and if you send them on the 14th, it costs you extra. It costs you $10 to $20 extra to send them on the 14th. And that's because, of course, flower shops are just, piled on how many deliveries they have. So if they're going to do the delivery, they have to figure out a way to cull out some of the deliveries by asking you to do it either early and then I used to do it after. But unfortunately, if you want to make, it looks like that FTD or 1-800-Flowers or some of these wonderful floral places that you like, if you're going to do them online, tend to want you to do it before Valentine's Day. Please do it early, not after. They don't give you the sale for after, which they used to give you the sale for after, but now some of them do not. If your loved one is close enough and you can just pick them up, may I suggest Costco has great bouquets, but you do have to shop early. And by that, I mean on the 14th or the evening of the 13th. So you go the evening of the 13th, you get your flowers so that you can give them on the 14th, or you do it very, very early on the 14th because Costco makes sure they have a huge flower delivery for the 14th in anticipation of you all coming and getting flowers. And they have them at so many different sizes. Costco is really great for that. Here in Southern California, you can go to the flower market, which is in downtown. If you really have planned yourself well, you can go down to the flower market, get beautiful bouquets of flowers for pennies on the dollar. And they are more than happy to sell to you direct. And you can create an amazing bouquet. So if you're creative, get a vase, get the flowers you want, and you can really kill it with something like this. You can make something super, super wonderful if flowers are your thing. The reason I am pointing this out and the reason I actually learned a lot about this is because I worked with the Tournament of Roses here in my city. We do a rose float, and I learned all about flowers and where to get them at a discount and how to preserve them, etc., etc. So you can really do well. if you're someone who does not have a flower market, or you don't have a lot of times during a farmer's market, they will feature flowers in February that you can work with. But another really good thing to do is to go to Ralph's. The Ralph's near me is amazing when it comes to flowers. And I don't know if the person who has that particular Ralph's in Southern California is just someone who loves flowers, but they really do pull out all the stops and make some have some beautiful flowers. One of the things that they tend to really love personally are those lilies that are on the big stalk. You know, those really pretty butterfly lilies, butterfly orchids that are so pretty. Um, they've actually got all different kinds, and some of the gardeners have actually put a non-toxic ink or color inside and the plant in the water, and when the plant sucks it up, it opens the bloom, and you can get blue and purple and pink and all of these vibrant fuchsia type, loud neon colors that aren't found in nature if that's your thing. So this Ralph's actually has some great things that you can just at the last minute grab that are stunning and look like you planned for the whole time. If flowers are something that you want to do. But the 14th, if you are in love and you've been married, or you're in love and you know you're in love and everything, change the date. Seriously, I wanted to talk to you guys today and say change the date, because changing the date is going to save you. First of all, you're gonna be able to get a seat. You're going to be able to plan it according to you, and it'll be all about you, instead of those restaurants where you go to the restaurant and everyone gets a rose and it's just a big. I mean, if you like crowds and you're cool with that, then you're fine for the 14th. But if you want to have a romantic dinner and celebrate an anniversary with your hands across the table and a nice candle burning and some sweet music, and you don't feel like doing it at home, this is a perfect opportunity for you to change the date. So our Valentine's Day between me and my husband is the 16th. I really love the 16th because the 16th is a sweetheart day. I think the official sweetheart day is actually October 16th, but the number 16 has sweet 16, has significance for me across the board and for my husband and I. We can make that our special day, and we can tailor it to us. You can make it VIP without paying VIP, right? And this is something that's super special. When you make it your wedding anniversary, there's something about wanting to do something on that anniversary date. And if it's the 14th, you're really stuck. I have so many friends who say, I really wish I didn't get married on that day because I'd like to have a meal with my husband to celebrate the years in our life of being married. But because it's the 14th, it's always a lot of people, and it's always challenging, and it's always expensive, and if you're someone who has been married on the 14th, go ahead and tell me in the comments why you love it, if you love it. And if you don't like it, point out if you or if you're finding it a lot, maybe it wasn't the best decision. I just thought today we would talk about Valentine's Day and how when you're in love, every day is Valentine's Day. I hope for you, because I will be honest with you, it is for me. Yeah. So my husband and I moved it to the 16th, and that's when we do the flowers and everything. This year he surprised me with a beautiful bouquet of just 5 purple roses. He gave me those on Friday, and the timing couldn't have been better, because Friday was a rough day for me after I got off with you guys. I went to go see my dad, and they had to send him back to the hospital. So not a good day, rough day. Things seem stable, but that's why I'm attached to the phone, because I'm waiting to hear what the doctors say. We don't know what my dad is what's got my dad up, not doing well. So we'll see. He's stable, I think. She said he slept through the night. I called the nurse at 6:30 this morning, guys, and asked her if she could give me an update on my dad. And she said, I was with him all night. He was sleeping comfortably. We'll know more this morning. So I said, please have the doctors call me and fill me in. And there you go. Mondays are a chaotic day for me, as are Fridays anyway. So I'm going to just sit and wait for them to call. And if I don't hear from them at a certain time, I will Shawshank them until I do hear from them. So that's kind of the way it is. But going back to the Sweetheart Day, there were some sales that came across over the weekend. FTD, 1-800-Flowers, reached out to you. You may have gotten this email or a text that said, get 25% off or 30% off if you buy the flowers through them, but it ends on Valentine's Day, which sucks, actually. Um, but there's a lot of things if you don't want to pay those prices, because sometimes those prices are really bad. One of the things that I don't like about these online services that send flowers. Now, Costco, you may or may not know this if you're a big box member, like at what's the other one other than Costco? Sam's Club. Sam's Club and Costco will deliver flowers for you, but you've got to book them early. So, like beginning of February, you need to get in there, pick your bouquet, and tag Costco for the 14th or the 13th. And they don't charge you extra, especially if you get in early. So, and they're beautiful bouquets. Beautiful. If you're not up to taking them to where you want to take them, Costco handles it. I cannot speak for Sam's Club, but they're kind of similar, aren't they? I'm not a member of Sam's Club, but I bet you they can do the same thing. Otherwise, you can, get there, grab the flowers. There you go. You know, it's awesome. It's awesome. The other thing that my husband does for me on the 16th Sweetheart Day is takes me to See's. I have a candy heart that he fills. So he gave me a heart when we were first married. It's a cardboard box and it's a little bit tattered and a little bit worn, but it's really special. And I take this box in every year on the 16th and ask See's to fill it. See's is my favorite candy. My husband goes, they're gone down, but there are candies that they do that I really, really love. And I can go in and say, please, and pick whatever I want, and they fill the box. And so that's what we'll do on the 16th. We'll get up in the morning, we'll go to See's. There will be no line. You see what I'm saying? If you want it for the 14th, the lines are out the door. And I don't want to say how valuable is your time, but I'll say how valuable is your time. It's great to be able to walk into the store, stand there, and make a decision without feeling like the people behind you wish you'd really hurry up. Once the 14th is gone, there's no one in that area. You can walk right up, you can take your time, you can pick your candy and have your candy heart full the way you want it. So please, if the 14th isn't essential for you, then think about another day. That being said, if your spouse works at the office, especially, this is probably a message to men out there. But if your wife works in the office, you're going to have flowers come on the 14th or the day before on the 13th. I think is appropriate too. You'll have to ask your wife or your girlfriend. But the last thing a woman wants to have happen, and maybe there's men out there that feel the same way, so I'm not going to keep it gender centric, but I am going to say, if you know that the person, your partner, spouse, etc., is someone who needs that on the 14th and they work in the office, make sure you get that sent. And ask the guy to do a lot of bravado. Okay, make that person feel special, because the last thing you want to do, it's like being in school and not getting a Valentine. Do you remember that? Everybody made Valentines out and you traded them in school, elementary school mostly. I don't think you did it much in junior high or high school. But you were the one like Charlie Brown without a Valentine's card, and you were like, you felt kind of down. Well, that's the way a person can feel in the office, as everyone is getting flowers from the person that loves them and you don't have anything in the office. Okay, especially if you're in one of those great areas. I mean, nowadays that may not even be the case, but back in the day there were cubicles everywhere, and you'd see somebody with flowers and hope it was you as he walked, his head bobbed with the big flowers bobbing, right? And you're like, please be me, please be me. That's what I'm saying. If they work at the office, they're going to need you to bring for flowers, guys. You could bring them to her home at work afterwards, but it's not the same. If she's in a place where there's other people that can see. Now, if she's in her own office and there's not a lot of people on the floor because of the pandemic, a lot of these offices are very, very sparsely laid out after the pandemic. So it may not be as essential to do that, but if it is, and she's working in an office or place where there's other coworkers, yeah, make sure she's the one that shines or he's the one that shines, depending on, the situation that you're in. Just a word of advice from a 65-year-old woman who has been, I remember when I was an Imagineer at Disney. I'm an Imagineer now, but I'm the come here, get away Imagineer. But when I was an Imagineer at Disney, I remember my dear friend Nina Ray Vaughn. She did a lot of maps. She did a lot of illustrations. She was a brilliant, lovely, beautiful woman, blonde hair that came down in curls and gorgeous eyes and just beautiful figure. And uh, we saw this arrangement on Valentine's Day float through the cubicles because Imagineering in the 80s was in the 80s and 90s was a lot of cubicles together, a lot going on because we were building Disneyland Paris and we were contemplating Tokyo, all this kind of, it was really a flurry of art and creativity. It was wonderful. A really good time to be an Imagineer. And you saw the head bob, your thing was here and you saw the head bob, and then there was this beautiful arrangement and it was a hot air balloon. So someone had taken a balloon about, I'd say it was probably about 18 inches tall by 12 inches wide. And then they had taken ribbon and done the whole thing. And then the basket underneath had the flowers. It was the most stunning thing I had seen. And it floated through, and every woman was one, I say women because back then, this is my assumption, but that's not the way any person would have loved to have gotten those flowers. I need to correct my speech. Any person was hoping to get that arrangement, and it was Nina's. And I remember when it landed on Nina's desk, we all had to go and see Nina's office because we wanted to know, who is that from and what is that about and where did she get that, and et cetera, et cetera. Stunning, absolutely stunning. So this impact, even if nobody gets to see it, I think it still makes a big difference for the person that you love if you take a moment and have it at the office. If you're, if your partner is at the office, your husband or wife is at the office, it's a great way to just make them feel so special that you ship it. You make sure, it's a little extra money. Yes. Nice little card thinking of you, or, whatever you want to say on there. I love you forever, whatever. But actions just speak louder, and they're so wonderful and so lovely. What if you're someone who doesn't want candy or doesn't want one of those edible gifts that's melons and stuff? And you're like, yeah, it's kind of nice, but I only need like 2 sprigs out of the 30 that are sent to me. What if you don't want chocolate tipped strawberries? What if you don't want, what if you want something unique and special and different? Well, there's a million things that you could do. One of the things I want to suggest to you is, I'm going to pull it out here, is a company called Love Pop. Have you heard of Love Pop? Now, I am not a affiliate of Love Pop. I probably should be because I'm a fan, but I like the Love Pop cards. And this one was sent to me by someone in my tribe. And I just want to show you this one. This one is over the top, but then that's my dear friends. That's my tribe. But anyway, it comes in a beautiful envelope like this, and you simply open it up. This is from Holly and her family of Terry's tribe. And if you want to know more about Terry's tribe, let me just pop up that banner right now. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. You can go to Terry's tribe, and for $5 a month, you can be a part of a group that is just phenomenal and lovely and wonderful. But it comes flat like this. You see, isn't that beautiful? Now, here's a way you can send flowers. If you're someone who doesn't want, the plants to wilt, or you have a deal like that, you can get online with Love Pop, and it becomes a pop-up card. So watch carefully. Woo! How about that? And then the bottom fits inside, and you have this little floral gift. Isn't that fun? Isn't that cool? Beautiful, right? Now, another thing you can do, if Love Pop isn't doesn't float your boat, and it's cute because it has this little heart behind it. They're really a lovely company. But if love pop is something that you're like, well, I don't know, I don't want what everybody else has, I'd like to have something unique and special, then being a part of Terry's tribe, patreon.com/Terry, Terry Harden, is a good thing you might want to join, because we have an artist in there named Joe. And forgive me, my love pop did a love jump. But Joe does custom paper cuts and framing, and they're beautiful. So if you think of it early enough, you can say to yourself, my partner, my wife, my husband, my significant other, whatever you want to say, you want to do something unique and special to them. This is the perfect opportunity to do that on maybe it's not Valentine's Day, maybe it's a birthday, maybe it's an anniversary, whatever. I'm just saying that as an artist, I can give you a few ideas. You could have a painting done. One of the things that I say to my patrons is get me early, because I'm learning how to paint. I can do a painting for you. We can work on a one of a kind painting. And that way you could have a very special painting given to that special someone on that special occasion. Sculptures, I do those as well. But let me just talk about the fact that on Patreon, we have this wonderful artist. His name is Joe Mino, and he does these great paper cuts. And I think the best way to show you is to stand up here and let me rise my camera up. Okay, so I'm going to pick you up and carefully lift you up. And then I'm going to come back here. Try not to get too seasick, okay? I'm trying to make this so you're not seasick. All right, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to take you over to Joe's thing, because I have him on display up in my, do you see this back here? I'm going to come in, trying to tilt it right so I don't make you too seasick. But up here is a really lovely paper cut of Goofy surfing. Okay, a 3D paper cut in a nice shadow box. You see that there? Isn't that great? I know that, if my arms were longer, I could get in closer. So let me see. There it is. Forgive me for being a little rudimentary today, but I wanted to stay in my office, which is inside my home. But anyway, so there you go. That's what the deal is. Let me get back to me now. Here I am, the top of my head. Hi, guys. There you are. Okay. Let me just walk around here again, and we'll get us back to sitting down. But anyway, that was a little easier for me to do it that way than to try and pull that down and show you. So I hope that gave you, it's kind of a rough idea, but the basically is he does these paper sculptures of your favorite character or the person you love's favorite character. Maybe it could be a heart themed, it could be a Valentine's themed thing if you want. Anyway, it's one of the things that you get, but you don't have to be a member of my tribe in order to speak to Joe. Just, Google him and you'll find him. And you can reach out to him. Okay. This is just some ideas you might want to do to make something special for that special someone, or you can make it. Later on patreon.com, I'm going to start doing tutorials, and those tutorials will teach you how to do things. And what I'm going to work on doing is holiday things that you might want to do. And if you have a cutting machine like a Cricut or one of those other cutting machines, then you can create your own too. So there's lots of ideas to do. If the 14th is something that means a lot to you, right? And you can't change the date. But if you can change the date, it's going to be economically a lot better for you if you can. Just saying, because everybody right now wants to have that date and jump on that date, and it can be, have an adverse effect. You know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to talk to you today, not to tell you that it's the wrong date, but to give you some suggestions just in case you needed ideas for it, right? So let me there we go. I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. Let me bring this a little forward. There we go. There we go. Someone's at the door. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. Okay. All right. Hopefully my husband can hear that. Um, we'll just keep our fingers crossed that he can hear that. But anyway, let's hear what you have to say. Share with me a beautiful Valentine's Day story. Whatever you want to do. I just thought this would be a nice way to celebrate Valentine's Day, which is tomorrow. How will you celebrate? Okay. So true. Thank you, David. I love you for that. Morning, sweetheart. Morning, Sally. Yes, he heard it. Oh my goodness, you're talking about love. I just did the math. My Rose and I have been sweethearts for 44 years. Isn't that lovely? Congratulations, Bob and Rose. February 21st, 1979 was our first kiss. Yeah, we've been married for 39 years. So February 21st is our Valentine's Day, sweetheart day. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Bobberdine and Rose, they could go like everybody else and be the 14th, or they could pick a special day that's special to them and them exclusively. In this case, February 21st, and that becomes their special, personal, individual for the special couple, their Valentine's Day. And it just makes it so nice. February 21st is my husband's birthday. So we chose the 16th. But, and I think it's just joyful that that first kiss must have been a real Lulu because they both remember it. Isn't that nice to celebrate? And you just don't know what the experience can be for you both once you're away from that track of that day. I'm just saying. It's a suggestion from Terry TV. Bob, thank you for sharing. That's amazing. That is lovely. And congratulations. How's it going? It's going well. I mean, I'm talking to you guys. That always makes me feel better. Hey, I'll be in and out today, says Joe. Got a meeting and other stuff going on here. Wow, excellent. Well, you keep up the good work, Joe, because you know so many different things. Sees Candy Rocks. My husband keeps saying, would you like a Godiva? Would you like there are some candies from Paris that I really, really like, but I don't buy them. I don't really order them unless I'm in Paris. There's also champagne I like. Again, I like it from France. The thing is more and more and more people are loving actual champagne. So Paris has exported quite a bit. One of the key exporters is Mumm, M-U-M-M, and they do some really delicious blends of champagne. And also they have a place that does some wines more locally so that you have a California Mumm champagne, which is very delicious. And then those of you who like ice and everything, I have a really dear friend who loves ice in all of her wines. Those of you who are sommeliers or wine experts, don't cringe, but she does. She loves ice in her reds. She loves ice in her whites, and she loves ice in her wines. And it really does make a lot of people go, ugh. But it must have been a trend for most people because the last time I was in Paris, Paris created ice wines, and Mumm and Pommery, and I think also Moet Chardon. They all do an ice wine. Wine that works with, and a champagne that works with ice. So if you're someone who needs that ice in your drink for that extra kick, they have actually formulated and created formulas that work with the ice. Now, as far as I've known, they've not done a red that works with that. It's just counterproductive. But if you like it, who are we to tell you not to do it? If you're a sommelier, they're going to be, so just bear with them, okay? It's not what people do. So don't get angry at them or the wine experts because you are diluting the wine, and they know the science, they know the art of it. So, you're kind of drawing a black line across a colored paper for them, but understand, if that's the way you like it, that's the way you like it. I mean, what else can I say for the red wine, ice cube in the red wine? I personally, it's not to my taste, but that doesn't mean that it's not to yours. To each their own. I'm glad I'm not a sommelier. But again, this is a great way to kind of create your own experience and make it special Forgive me. I just want to make sure this isn't okay. Good. It's just another ad. People trying to catch you before Valentine's Day. But the See's candy, as I started to talk about, I've had ever since I was a kid. Now, my favorite candy back in the day was the milk patties. I liked them in the dark and the milk chocolate, David. And they had the caramel. But a few years back, they took them off the market. They took them off the market for about 3 years. And then when they brought them back, the balance was off. Infuriating. Infuriating. So now my friends from London, so the caramel balance of that have got me the curly whirlies. Okay, so this is a British candy. It's a wonderful British candy. It's chocolate and caramel, but the balance is better than the See's milk patties. I can't eat the See's milk patties because they screwed up the balance. Too much chocolate, not enough caramel, doesn't have that flavor balance that if you like caramel and chocolate together, Curly Whirler is going to do it for you. And it's a Cadbury and it comes out of London. Yeah. And they really are lovely. They're a braid. So they come in a braid shape. Do I have one open? Let me see if I have one open. I don't think I have one open. But this is a great balance if you like caramel and chocolate. It's like it doesn't spin around like the DNA thing, but it does crisscross like this. And it just is the perfect balance between chocolate and caramel if you're looking for an alternative. But what I like now that See's does, David, that I really, really think is fantastic and will probably fill most of my heart with, is a thing that is brown. It's a brown sugar nougat in the middle with chocolate on the outside. I couldn't even tell you what it's called, but it comes in a brick form, and then nuts and chews. Love nuts. So chocolate covered almonds, chocolate covered pecans. I love nuts. So it becomes extra special. Okay, yeah, cool. Comes extra special and extra nice. And yeah, so we will be going on the 16th. We start out with that, do that, and then sometimes we'll pack a picnic, or we're going to go down to the beach and just kind of enjoy a nice walk, spend the day in the outdoors. It should be lovely. No rain, so yay. But that's what we're going to do. So that's kind of what I like to do, and it's all about us. And a lot of times, another tip for you guys is, if you can have it, and the restaurants are open all the time, have it between the lunch and dinner hour, because even you can make it more yours if it's an odd hour. Okay, an early dinner like 4 o'clock can really blow it away. But some restaurants aren't open then. They open at 5:30, and of course you can't do that. They'll have lunch hours, if they have lunch hours at all, and then they'll close for dinner, and then they'll reopen again. So if you have a favorite restaurant that does that, you won't be able to do that. But some restaurants just stay open from lunch on in, and you go on the weird times and you can have the whole restaurant to yourself. Yeah, another cool thing to do is, if you're not sports minded like me, Super Bowl, what the heck is that? And why would I watch it? And so if you're that person, which is me, it's a perfect time to go to your favorite spot and have a nice meal, because everybody else is watching the Super Bowl. So my big cool thing I like to do is to shoot up to Santa Barbara and eat at the Harbor Restaurant on the water. But unfortunately, we've had some landslides that have been messing with the 101 freeway. That's the freeway that gets us up there. So we weren't sure if it would be, and we were supposed to have rain Saturday to Sunday. So we both were kind of like, maybe not this time. But it is a great time. Super Bowl Sunday is a really cool time to go and have a meal in your favorite restaurant, and you are pretty much by yourself, because 99.9% of the people are like many of you. You watch the Super Bowl and you have your wings and your pizza and all that fun thing, and you cheer for your favorite team or one or the other. Even if that isn't your favorite team, you just love the whole tailgating experience you have in your home, and good for you and congratulations on that. Not for me. So we go and do this, and it was really funny because at the Harbor Restaurant, they usually have a big deal up in the bar, up at the top. The Harbor Restaurant is split into a bar and then a restaurant. And we were at the restaurant, and they actually looked down from the bar. You know, they came down the stairs and they looked in and they said, "Oh, hi. Okay, we'll be right there." Because they were all up doing Super Bowl. So they would come down the stairs and come and serve us. Nobody else in the restaurant. Beautiful views, wonderful food. Just an idea, you know. If your thing isn't what everybody else is celebrating, the perfect time to go have a good meal and a good time. Just food for thought for you guys, oddly enough. David says, I was the photographer at a wedding where I first met my future wife. Ooh, how lovely. They say that happens. As the bride was preparing to throw the traditional bouquet towards the eligible women, I was tracking the flight of the flowers with my camera. I saw they were coming towards me. I caught the bouquet, tangled it in my camera, and a year later, I was married. My wife, Libby, and I have celebrated 41 delightful years together this year. Congratulations, David. And what a lovely story. I love that. See? See, isn't this a good time to be doing this, guys? It's lovely. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. I would imagine that your pictures were like blur if you accidentally hit the clicky thing while you were trying to catch the bouquet. How fantastic. See? So David Skipper is actually pointing out to me that, yeah, don't be gender centric. It could be anybody loves flowers. Everybody loves flowers. Everybody. So my point is that, know the heart of the one you love and make them feel special. If they work in an office or a place where there's lots of people, yeah, you want to do it for the 14th. I know it's expensive. But you want to do that. You don't want to leave them out because it does hurt their feelings. Even if they tell you it doesn't hurt their feelings, it does hurt their feelings when they don't get those special flowers. So do yourself a favor and do it for them. It's good. You can't go wrong. Love Pop was on Shark Tank. Great guys. Yes, David. I don't know that I saw them on Shark Tank, but I love their stuff. I just love their stuff. And I think they're a great little company, and a company that if I want to do a really special thing, I make my own pop-ups too, like Joe Mino. But if I want to do something for someone and I can't get to making them, then at least I know that I can count on Love Pop to do me a service and do a really nice one and make someone feel extra special. And they are lovely. I love their packing. I learned a lot from Love Pop on how they pack the cards, on how they take care of the cards, on how they do really well. It's lovely, and they're reasonable for what they are, aren't they? Just gorgeous, just really worth it. Oh, wow, that's a great paper cut. Yes, it is, and it's wonderful, and it doesn't wilt. So sometimes people are very, they don't want to see the flowers go through their stage. I'm not one of those people. I love flowers at every stage, right down to the dead flowers. And then you may have heard of this group that if there's someone you don't like, you send them dead flowers. Now there's a creative individual, but I would hate to be on the receiving end of dead flowers, because usually it's a diss. It's like poking you, Our love is dead. Here are flowers. Ow! Yeah. So I don't, it's kind of rare. So, so today we're talking about the positive love. Do something nice. It'll make you feel a whole lot better, and them too. So why not? I love anything with Goofy. He's my favorite. Well, you see, this is what I'm saying. You can get a little creative in here and then look to collaborate with someone so that you could make them the extra special gift. And this was, like I said, from Terry's Tribe, which again, it's patreon.com/Terri Hardin. It's a great group of people. I have their back. They have mine. We have a private Facebook page like most people, but it's a great place to help each other and take care of each other. And they really are a giving, loving group of people. And I'm so grateful to know each and every one of them. And your voice needs to be heard. So that's why I just ask $5 a month, because I want it to be affordable to you so that you can be a part of it. It's really just to make me show up. We need skin in the game, mine and yours, and that's a way to say that you're vested. So that's why I have this membership site that does that. There are higher portals, but right now I say stay at the $5 mark to make sure you like it. And then the $10 shows you a little behind the scenes of what I do behind the scenes. I'm working to flesh that out now. And then I'll have a tutorial tier eventually. And then I have higher tiers there. So you can decide which tier /portal you like. Pull up your comfy chair and sit there a while and see if it suits you. But I would encourage you, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. And if you can't remember /Terri Hardin, which is probably the part you remember, Patreon, just go, Google Patreon and then put my name in the search box and you'll find me. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty easy. But this is how I got to know about Joe and these beautiful paper cuts, and I started to share them with people, because if you want something extra special, he can do it. And you can rough out a sketch, or you can Zoom with him and he sketches, and then he prices it and you decide whether or not it's something for you. Remember, most likely it's going to be a one of a kind. So it's going to, be a little bit of an investment, but you'll find out how much when you talk to him. And if paper cut thing isn't your thing, then you may want to talk to me about a painting or a sculpture. There's that available as well. So there you go. Just lot. And then it doesn't even, let me just say, it doesn't have to be a thing either. It could be an experience. You plan a picnic. Right now in Southern California, we have this explosion of flowers that's happening because we've had rain. Oh, and so there's hillsides that you can go to where it looks like, the sound of music on steroids, just flowers, flowers, flowers. The hills are definitely alive. So you could plan a picnic where you go out and you see that, because it's only going to be there for a short time before the flowers decide, to be gone. And you can create an experience where you do a nice picnic, you do some of their favorite foods, you do a favorite wine or champagne. It's really about, what do you do that's specific to that person, to show them through action your love for them. Yeah, that's basically the whole deal. I actually just finished with the Valentine's Day special with puppets. I'm going to upload tomorrow. Well, tag me on it, will you? I'd love to see it. I think that's adorable. I think that's one. And here is a perfect example of something you could do by sending them a nice video that says something, or use, be creative. Like, this is very creative idea, right? And to me, that just sounds super, super cool. So, and it brings to my attention that I actually got on TikTok over the weekend. My husband held my hand and I jumped on TikTok, and I did a little Groot takes a trip. So I did a one-of-a-kind planter of Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, and my friend and client bought it. And so I delivered it to him. Oh, this is a scam. Sorry, guys. I hate, my heart leaps because I think it's the doctors, and then it's idiot phone number. Sorry about that. But anyway, so he bought it, and we drove it out to his location and we put it in his garden. So if you haven't seen that, TikTok, Terri Hardin Legend, go ahead and check it, and then like it or not. Just, comment if you want, or connect with me if you want. It's my first time. I did TikTok a while back, but I really didn't know what I'm doing. And now I'm kind of doing it a little bit with guidance. So stay tuned for more TikTok if that's your thing. And I'm learning how to bring it into my Instagram stories and into Facebook, and then I'm also talking on YouTube. So it's something else I'm learning. I'm 65, so it takes me a little bit longer. I'm so much better talking one-on-one with you guys, but go check it out and let me know what you think, okay? If you're not a TikToker, it's also on Instagram, because that's what I'm looking to do, is to carry it across platforms, as many of you professionals TikTokers have told me that's what you do. So thank you for sharing that with me and sharing your hacks with me as well. But I can't wait to see this, so please tag me on it. Milky Way has a great candy bar. Milky Way. Oh, yes, I know it well, David. It's a lot like C's, and it can be found in almost every store. It's a great treat when you get that sweet tooth. My husband loves dark chocolate, and this is one of his favorites. So you are so right. And dark chocolate is said to be better for you. However, chocolate in small amounts, I think, is good for everyone. And the funny thing about me is that I'm not a chocolate lover. I prefer vanilla, except for when it comes to C's candy and the Curly Whirly, because it's so. Here you go. So Joe's back. You are so cute, Joe. Mike says, "How am I today?" He likes when the radio announcer says, "Stay tuned for the Quiet Storm on 106.3 in his deep voice. Stay tuned. 103. 106.3. There you go, Mike. There you go. Joseph says, I'm not a Super Bowl fan either. I used to eat with friends in the past. I actually fell asleep during the Super Bowl and was more upset missing the commercials and movie trailers. Well, here's the thing that I've learned about the Super Bowl is that the Super Bowl and those advertisers who used to make it exclusive and surprise you on the Super Bowl, Joseph, now do it early. So I actually got to see all of the fun Super Bowl commercials a week early. They start early because they want the numbers to click on their social media. So you can actually see them early and not even have to deal with the Super Bowl. That's me. Okay. And believe me, I'm not dissing you if you like the Super Bowl. You guys, it's an event. You plan it for the year. It's a whole deal and good for you. I have things that I do the same way. So don't think that I'm not thinking of what I would do that is that. Okay. Academy Awards, which is coming up. And I've got the day laid out. I watch it alone because I have lots of comments about bad dress, bad clothing, horrible hair. And I want to be able to say it out loud in the privacy of my own room. And then I have a list of movies that I vote on. I've seen every film that is up for Academy Award, and I try to see every film that is nominated, whether it's animation, short subject, documentary, all of it. I try to find it. Documentaries are very challenging to find, as are animation, but I work really hard to try and see it. I don't always get to see all of that, but if I can, I do. And then if I can't, I at least can see the winner, because then all of a sudden they give the winner an opportunity to show their film. So I at least get to see the winner when it comes to animated short subject, documentary short subject, that sort of foreign film, all of that. Foreign films are more and more starting to show themselves because they're getting clever, aren't they? And they are making their way into the Academy Awards. But that's my Super Bowl. So please don't think that I think it's bad what you're doing. It's just Academy Awards for me is it good and bad. It can be an absolute garbage show, and I'm still watching it because I want to hear the speeches. I'm one of those people that like to hear the speeches. Many of the speeches can be a little exhausting because an actor or actress or person who wins feels like if they don't thank somebody, it could mean no job in the future. Those kind of speeches get exhausting. But when somebody comes up and speaks from the heart, like last year with Coda, which I voted for that movie, even though everybody told me Power of the Dogs was going to win, and that was a dog of a movie. I absolutely hated it. Hated it. I didn't dislike it. I hated it. So I said, no, Academy won't vote for that. And they didn't. They voted for my favorite, Coda. So to watch all of them sit and see, absolutely be shocked that their movie won, even though I was not. This was great. And I don't enter a pool or win money or anything like that. It's just me competing with myself to see how in tune I am with the Academy. And I absolutely love it. I do vote for the Screen Actors Guild Awards, so that's coming up. I have to have my vote in by the 24th, and I still have 2 series I need to watch. So that's going to be the thing that I do if I don't have jury duty. What did I mention? Yeah, I'm on call for jury duty, and so I could get it. When I call in, they could have me in, or they could say, "You're good. Thank you for calling in." So my week is like this. But I will use that time to watch these 2 series I have not yet seen. Those 2 series are The Old Man and The Patient. So those are the 2 I have left. And it's funny because I think I don't need to see them in order to vote, but then I watch them. And if you haven't seen The Old Man, oh my goodness, it's an FX show. And oh my goodness, wow, it's incredible. I'm only halfway through the first episode. It's a series, and my goodness, it's making me rethink a lot of things. Bridges is incredible. So it's a bit of a challenge this year on some of the choices, because there's some really good stuff, and then there's some really awful stuff, some really terrible stuff that is out there, in my opinion. But if you want me to talk about movies and films, I could do that next Friday if I'm not during jury duty. And if not, I can do it the week after. I'm happy to speak movies if you want to talk movies. It's my favorite thing. I listen to movies instead of music because music makes me move. So when I'm sculpting, I can't move. I have to be focused. So I put a movie on that plays here in the background. So like Godfather, which I love a lot, Good, the Bad, the Ugly, which I love a lot, Ten Commandments, Ben-Hur. I'm saying old movies. New movies would be The New Menu. I love that movie. Love that movie. It's a horror movie. It's a really good one. Really good one. Cerebral as well as, oh, it's just so good. It's so good. And so I watched that one. I watch movies that I'm getting to watch movies that are in here so that I don't have to look back. And what's interesting is when I'm sculpting or creating something for you guys, whether it's a series or a one of a kind, I remember when I look at the piece what movie was playing in my head at the time. So I am a big movie buff from way back to the 1950s horrors when I was a little girl and fell asleep on the floor watching them. And then you may remember, or you may have heard of those times when channels in the middle of the night would go off the air with the flag and the music and all of that and go, well, there I was in the light of the, my mother would pick me up and go, Terry, you've got to stop getting up in the middle of the night and watching monster movies. And of course, I didn't listen like most kids. So I am a really movie buff from way back then. I know a lot of them. I talk about one now a lot, Inherit the Wind with Spencer Tracy. And it really is a cautionary tale. It's about the monkey trials, and it's really good. You should look it up and you should check it out because our world right now is kind of feeling like we're going that way in some areas, and we have to be careful. So, yeah, so I always tell people, check out Inherit the Wind if you really want to hear these cautionary tales. And then I just watch, yeah, there's some movies I really, really love, and I will watch them over and over and over and over and over again. And there's ones that are new, like The Menu, love it, love it. And then I notice things because I love the salt and pepper around the lead actor or actress because I'm a character actor myself and do voices. So it's like, as well as a puppeteer. Yeah, it's true. But the reality of it is this: the people around are sometimes very interesting because they help the lead sell the shot. And so it's really cool to see that. And nowadays, when you can stream things over and over and over again, you start to notice what structures a thing and why, how a person acts and everything. I love Nick Cage. I really am a Nick Cage fan most of the time because he's so entertaining. But he does a movie that I have no idea why it doesn't get more notoriety, more eyes on it, and that's called Pig, Pig. If you haven't seen it, you need to. Go into your Roku or your Apple or your Apple TV or whatever and search that and watch it. It is I think it's one of his finer performances. It's very internal. And I don't see Nick Cage doing a lot of internal acting. And so it was really a loving this man already in movies like the one where he plays the character who turns into a flaming skull, which most people go, ugh, but I love that movie. He's really good in it, in my opinion, anyway. But I love it because it's an entertaining movie. I can sit back, have my popcorn, and just go for a great ride with Nick Cage. He always is entertaining. And so he's very special. But he did this movie, which is seriously strong, in-depth acting, which really shows what the man is made of when he puts his mind to it and really wants to do a piece that shows what he's got in his tool set. And it's a beautiful movie. If you ever get to see it, Pig, Pig, as in I know it's a funny name, but it's a great film. It's a really great film, and I love it. And what I like to do is watch The Menu, which just came out this year, 2022, and then watch Pig after. And the reason I do is because it's both about chefs or about people who know food. Let me just say it's both about people who know food. So it's very interesting. You'll like it. I think you'll be very impressed. So let me know if you do. David Lewis dark chocolate is available from many different brands. Yes, yes, they are. But he's talking about a particular one that he likes. Yeah, I watched the Super Bowl. Not a big football fan, but I can appreciate a good game. Of course you can, Joe. And this one was really pretty enjoyable. Very little boiler, really. And I have a friend who lives in Ohio, and her whole family gets together. She has a room that I think is really designed for people getting together for an event like the Super Bowl. And I was there one time when they had Sunday football day, which was not the Super Bowl, but to just watch them and their energy was a lot of fun. So, Joe, I get what you're saying. It's just not for me. I was more entertained with watching them than I was anything about the game because it's just not my thing. And then, of course, yeah, just not my thing. I think I'm going to just leave it at that. My Disney friends with name tags, pick a character and go under their name. Who would you pick? Okay, my Disney friends with name tags, pick a character to go under their name. Who would you pick? The first thing that comes to mind, surprisingly enough, Tigger is my favorite character and is my namesake because I'm bouncy. So everybody has called me Tigger since I was knee high to a grasshopper, and not Jiminy Cricket grasshopper. But I would say Mickey because one time I was in Disneyland and I was on the Big Thunder Railroad when I met Mickey, a cast member named Mickey, and I asked him if I could buy his name tag. I just wanted a name tag that said Mickey, and he sold it to me. Now, you're not supposed to as a cast member. This was so long ago. Good luck finding Mickey. But I loved it because I just thought it was really cool. Back in that day, their name tags were red with the happy Mickey Mouse and in the little shorts, and then Mickey. And Mickey was adorable, and I just wanted to own his tag. So that's the name tag I would go under is Mickey with the mouse on the top. It was just priceless, and he sold it to me, and he sold it to me for a very, I think it was like $10 he sold it to me or whatever the cost it would to get a new one. Nowadays, of course, they caution you not to do that. They don't want you to do that, especially if you have a name like Mickey or Walt. uh because us collectors really, but I still have that tag. I just love it. I just love having it with the little mouse on the top. It's very special. So that would be my answer, David, to that one. Paper cuts are not something I consider fun, says Joe. Same with stubbing my toe and banging my head against the headboard or a car roof or something, which is why you hire someone because it's their jam. It's what they like to do. And then you're supporting their business, aren't you? That's why I wanted to tell you about this because they are fascinating. You love opening them up and seeing the details are involved. And they're a gift that keeps on giving. They really are an amazing gift that keeps on giving. And yeah, and some have laser cuts today. A lot of paper cuts use lasers, and that makes it crisp and clean and whatever. So it's not necessarily a blade. They use very detailed laser cuts, and it's just fascinating how detailed their stuff is. So yeah, Joe, not for you. Find someone who wants to do it. If I had a name tag, I think it would be ER, so I could say, thanks for noticing me. Ah, David. Well, that's sweet. That's sweet, right? Not sad. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. I think ER needs to be more noticed more often. But yeah, that's a cute one too. ER's adorable, isn't he? Yeah, I did a painting for a friend of mine, one of a kind for his mother, because she loves Eeyore and she couldn't find a lot of Eeyore in the parks. So I think you're right. Thanks for noticing me is exactly what Eeyore would say, because even if they're Pooh centric, meaning Winnie the Pooh centric, that they sometimes eliminate Eeyore from the group. And I just don't know how you can do that. It seems, what do you mean you're not including Eeyore? You know, I can understand it if you don't put Christopher Robin because he's human. So if you want to feature the animals, you feature the animal. But really? No Eeyore? Really strange. But that's what you told me. And when I did my research, I had trouble finding an actual Eeyore in the merchandising. It's weird. Really weird. David Lewis, Milky Way dark, rather good though. I'll choose it over regular Milky Way most of the time. There you go. Ta-da. I'm a chocolate lover, not a chocolate fighter. There you go. There you go. And that brings us to Valentine's Day again. Love that chocolate, right? And that's another thing you can do. Do you know that if you bake and you like to make chocolate chip cookies, another thing that you could do is to get the Toll House chips and the recipes on the back? This is if you want simple, okay? You could go more simple, which is to get the ready-made dough, get it, mush it together, roll it, and make a heart. And boom, there's your Valentine's Day. And then you can share a cookie together. Yeah, coffee and a cookie candle, right? Coffee, cookie, candle. I watch at home so I can go to the bathroom when I need to, says Jody. It's the important things in life, Judy. Seriously, that's why I like to do virtual races, is because the bathroom is always available, as is water and air conditioning. That's very cute. I need to see some more of the nominated films before the awards ceremony. Yeah. Of the nominated films, let me help you with that, Joe. You don't have to listen to my recommendations, but you might want to do them in this order. Must-sees. Must-see number 1 is Banshees of Inisherin, if you haven't seen it. I believe that will take it this year. I'm saying it in front of you guys first. All Quiet on the Western Front is another version of a movie that was done earlier in life. It's very good. Avatar, of course, has been nominated, and most of you guys have probably already seen it. Elvis, but the problem with Elvis is Tom Hanks, okay? I love Tom Hanks. Gosh, what a brilliant actor, but they should just not let him do accents unless they're sure he can do it, because this one is so painful. The guy who plays Elvis is so good compared to Tom Hanks, who you can't get past that horrible accent. So that's kind of rough. Everything Everywhere All at Once is very popular, but don't know if it's a movie for everyone. It wasn't a movie for me, and I love Michelle Yeoh. So, and I love a lot of the actors that are in it, and I thought some of their characters, like Jamie Lee Curtis, were good, but not a movie for me. I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. That's not fair. But I am going to say not a movie for me. Just not, I am not the demographic in that film. Fablemans, up to you. But to me, this feels like a college person did this, and Steven Spielberg put his name on it. A lot of people justify it by saying it's the story of his life growing up, but it doesn't have that Spielberg feel that I'm used to and love. It's missing to me. Tar's incredible. I'm not going to tell you why. Watch it, and then we'll talk about why. Top Gun Maverick, I'm glad they gave him a nod, but don't see that happening. Triangle of Sadness, okay, just sad. And then Women Talking, no, absolutely no. If you love this movie, maybe you can tell me. But again, a movie that really was no. I thought some pretty visuals, but really didn't like the film at all. But I've seen them all. There are some ones I think you should see. I think you should see The Whale. I think that's a really incredible film, but you may want to stream it because it's extremely sad and very heavy, and you might want to be able to step up and take a minute while watching it. The acting is incredible, especially by Hong Chau, Chau. I think she's brilliant. I think she's very strong. And then, of course, Brendan Fraser does a great job, of course. So there you go. There's several movies in here that I can say, like I said, Banshees is amazing, but it's going to blow you away when you see it. You're going to be like, what? Yeah, it's pretty something. You know that I love Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I love it. If you're not interested in the political part of it that happens at the back, that's fine. Just know that Guillermo tends to do this with his films. He takes a stand. So this is Guillermo. I love it. I love it. I've seen a couple of documentaries that I like very much, and I'm trying very hard to see them all, but these are the ones that are challenged, because if you don't get to a special screening, you don't get to see these. And if you're not a documentary filmmaker, you miss out, right? They will make sure they're available to you if you make documentaries. But if you're not like me, I don't make documentaries. I really would love to see them all, but they're very challenging. So I've written to the Academy and asked the Academy Museum if they might screen some before the Academy Awards so I could have maybe a day of looking at those. I'd love that. I'd love that. But I haven't had a chance to look at the website to see if they've actually put that up yet. And the same with the live action short films and the animated short films. I just would love to see those as well. So, and also international films, which usually have more, but now costume design is one that I really, really was impressed with a lot of stuff. But one of the things that I'm beginning to learn with stop motion is that their costume design is incredible sometimes. It just blows you away at the detail of it. And then Avatar, if more and more people knew the behind the scenes of Avatar Way of Water, they would begin to think, I really feel that woman who did the costumes for that should have been nominated because they were not on a computer. She made every single one in fur, fabric, etc., so that the actors who were in performance capture for Avatar could feel and create the character better. And that's something that's not really known. So when I heard that, I pray that the Academy can maybe talk Cameron into doing a show celebrating her costumes, because I'm dying to see what they look like on computer, the real clothing. I'm dying to see the real clothing. And I won't go through the whole list about it, but there you go. Maybe, Joe, you can think of. I definitely would see Banshees of Inisherin if you want to. And then if you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's a movie that's so popular that and has won awards that it's something that you should see if it's your cup of tea, or if it's not, you should check it out because it definitely is a film you should see. I saw it twice. Not for me. Definitely areas in it that I love, but it takes too long to get to the parts that I love. And I'm not going to tell you what they are. Watch it and tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you think. Yes, please, says Veronica. Have you seen the show Ghosts? So good. I started to watch that, but it's not up for anything. So, I mean, it's not up for the two, SAG or the other one. So I have to focus because there's a lot. There's a stack here, guys. Look at this. Yeah, all of these films. Good thing I'm not a nomination committee member or an Academy member, or there would be more that I'd have to go through. So I'm lucky. I just have to look for the ones that they nominated as the best of the best. And, one of the ones that they left off, I'm so grateful. It's up for, I think, song maybe. Let me just look and see. I'm really grateful that they did not nominate it because it was this side of terrible, and that is Babylon. 3 hours of pain, that movie. But they did nominate it for something. I'm trying to find out. I thought it was song. Costume design. Babylon got nominated for costume design. No. And then I think they nominated it for one best original score. Yeah, I knew it had to do with something with music. No. No. But it's a painful. Sitting through that movie was just 3 hours. Just rough. Just not no. Yeah, no to that movie. Everyone who likes classic movies should like the Valley Drive-In, a classic movie appreciation page, and join the associated group. Okay, yeah, maybe I will. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, as you know. So not so sure that I'll do that, but you can always send me the link and I'll check it out. The Valley Drive-In, a classic movie group. Yep. I love classic movies. I really do. So obsessed with them. Did you hear they're thinking, I think my husband said they're actually going to do a remake of Them, the one with the giant ants. It's probably going to be LCG, right? Yeah. I hope they get Them is such a good movie. So much fun. And the ants were always breaking down, which as a puppeteer, you just dig that stuff, right? So, yeah. So you love that behind the scenes stuff. Them is one of my favorite movies. I'll have to show you some behind the scenes if I haven't before. Jiminy Cricket isn't a grasshopper. He's a cricket. Thus the name. Yes, you're right. Jiminy Cricket. Knee high to a cricket, but not Jiminy Cricket. Let me fix that. Thanks, Joe. Uh, I think my understanding of paper cuts are different from yours. Paper cuts hurt rather viciously. I don't see how anyone can enjoy them. Oh, I see. You're talking about when you get one on your tongue and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Cute, very cute. Uh, Tinkerbell, she's sassy. She is, isn't she? And she's very sassy. In fact, during the creation of Tinkerbell, Linda, the artists who created her, the Disney legends and artists who created her, said they were thrilled to create her because she was sassy. She wasn't a prim and proper princess. She had some chutzpah to her, and hence the reason her skirt is a little shorter than most, and she's a bit of a tart. So, but they really enjoyed creating Tinkerbell and working with Tinkerbell, and it was fun to see them smile as they were able to kind of stretch the envelope because she was a pixie, right? Pixie, not a fairy. Yeah. Uh, Very cool, extremely cool. Joseph says, I woke up at the end of the Super Bowl to see them win, then saw the Disney 100 ad, which was great. I did watch the movie trailers I missed on YouTube later on. I did see the T-Mobile ad with John Travolta, but I really liked the Rockstar ad, even though I don't remember what product it was for, which means it wasn't that great of a commercial, but it was fun. When you can't remember the product, it's not doing its job, is it, Joseph? But I understand what you're saying. We like the Breaking Bad series that they started to do that we thought was pretty fun because we're both Breaking Bad fans and Better Call Saul fans, and yeah, that's what we kind of liked. I haven't seen them all, but I know I can see them wherever I want, so I don't have to sit through the Super Bowl in order to do it since it's not my cup of tea. Susan says, my cast member friend Evan has Simba as the character name under his real name. Funny story is he is the original singing voice of Simba in The Lion King. Oh, that's wonderful. JTT was speaking and more famous. Hashtag JTT was speaking and more famous. Not many who work or know him know this fact. Yeah. And Susan, this is the fun part because then you can be out. And if somebody asks you the question, you can tell them if you want to. Like very few people know that I was competing for the voice of Figment when Figment was first introduced. And they gave it to Billy Barty. I was one of the top 3 people for the voice. I'd gone through all the ranks and I was one of the top 3 for the voice of Figment. And they gave it to Billy Barty, the non-actor. I could make that story longer, but I won't. David, I have seen all the nominated films and my vote is for Banshees. Yeah, I think that's the one. Yep, I'm with you, David. That's the one. Colin is amazing in that. They're all amazing in that, but Colin, wow. Colin just blows me away because when I first met Colin, I was at a Screen Actors Guild. The Screen Actors Guild has these events where you can see these people live as they interview and promote their films. And I would go to them very often. And I went to see the new Wakanda Forever film. And I met people from that. Very, very cool to learn behind the scenes and the background and what people worked on. Avatar, I got to see Cameron and the people who worked on Avatar, which is how I learned about the costume designer, the costume designer, and how she made the costumes out of needle and thread like every other costumer. That's why I kind of am sorry that they didn't bring that fact out because I'd really love to see what she's got going. I keep digging, trying to see if I can find out if they're going to show me the actual costumes that she's made. I'm hoping when they release that film that they will have a behind the scenes, because that's one thing about Cameron. He does a great behind the scenes segment on his films that he works on. So I always like having those DVDs and Blu-rays because they show you the back and you go, oh my God, that's amazing. So I'm looking forward to that one. But anyway, Banshees, I met Colin during Minority Report. And I thought he was an English, like American actor, not American, but had, his accent was American, like, living in US. And no, he just does a killer American accent. Killer. Because when I saw him, he started to speak, and I was like, oh my gosh. In that thick brogue of his. Wow, that was a mind blower. And so anytime I watch him doing his thing, he's super, super good. He's really, really, really good. And in this one, he doesn't, he just delivers. They all deliver. And what a amazing, it's a film that shakes you up. And I love those kind of films. So I'm with you. I'm with you, David, 110%. I am. So, yeah. If we were voting and we got a big prize, we'd have to split it. Yeah, because we're in agreement. The Disney Fab Five: Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto. Every now and then I see 6, Daisy Duck. It's correct. That's correct. And also, if you ever want to create something for the parks, which I did park sculpting for a while, my cup was, I want to make sure it was solid so it doesn't go wee and spill tea everywhere. But you cannot mix lands. The Fab 5 or 6, as you have so eloquently put it, David, they can circulate throughout the entire Disney park, but you cannot have Winnie the Pooh, Tigger. Now the character the character might be seen in certain areas, but usually not. You can't have the characters. Like one time I wanted to create a teacup with the Winnie the Pooh characters in the teacup playing or mixing it with Alice and everybody together. And they told me, no, I could not have Winnie the Pooh characters in a teacup. It was violating the Disney standards. And that's the same with Alice. You cannot put Alice in Critter Country. And the Star Wars gang cannot be in Tomorrowland unless it has something to do with Star Tours. This is true. This is true. They actually tell you, nope, nope, yes, nope, 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 nope. No pirates in Fantasyland. Okay. Isn't that interesting? I had no idea. I just kind of assumed they could go wherever they wanted. And no. No Haunted Mansion in Fantasyland. No Wicked Queen on the Pirates of the Caribbean. No. So there you go. Yep. It's the truth. It's absolute truth. Yep. David. Good call there. I was disappointed by the Disney 100 commercial, overemphasis on post-1990 Disney works, and the acquisitions of Marvel and Lucasfilm and Pixar, not enough of pre-Eisner works. It could have been so much more. I agree with you, Joe. This is the problem with the 100th across the board that I'm hearing, that they are leaving out some monumental milestones in Disney's 100 years. So I'm working on a project, and that's one of the things that I want to bring out into the open this year is those monumental milestones. Yeah, and I'm talking with a lot of aficionados on it so that I do it right, okay? Because I won't begin to tell you. I know monumental steps in my life, okay? But I don't know necessarily monumental steps in the Disney. So I always reach out and ask people like you, mostly in Terry's tribe. That's where I do my questions and ask them what I should be doing. And let's talk about a list that would work well of things I want to do to celebrate the 100th myself. Disney's been really good to me as an Imagineer and as an artist. So I want to celebrate them, but I want to do it real. And a lot of people are like you, Joe. They don't feel it's very real. They feel it's kind of superfluous or maybe a bit too, would you say, safe? I don't know if that's what you would use. I have seen Banshees of Inisherin. Excellent film, although sad and a little disturbing. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. This year, a lot of movies are pensive, meaning that they look back on their lives or tell a story about how they were feeling. A lot of introspective, a lot of self-reflection. Some of them are just plain bad, but it's very strange. If you saw the stack of screeners that I went through, a lot of them were kind of looking into themselves, and this may be as a result of 2020 when we were with ourselves for a long time and had to spend time looking in the mirror for the first time. Many of us realized maybe we were living a false world, a false life. We were behaving falsely. And all of a sudden, we had to stay with ourselves for a while, isolated, and said, whoa, I better get my act together, or I could be traveling down a path I shouldn't. And that's kind of interesting. That's very interesting, but not necessarily a fun film to watch. So it's great. I'm especially interested in seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. I mean, everybody should see it once because it's very popular, but then decide if you liked it or not. I didn't. I didn't. The first time I didn't like it. It was hard for me to hang on to. So I watched it a second time because then I could relax and sort of let the movie unfold in a way instead of me going, what, you know, for me, second time, it was much more, I could understand it. I could figure it out. I could see what it is. Um, and still, no, not for me. Just no. But I really recommend you see it first before you do an opinion. And I do this with all movies, guys. I don't want to say a movie is terrible and not having seen it. That is so frustrating to me and such a slap in the face to the creators of these films. You know, they know when they're creating a film they can't please everybody. But to diss their film before they even get to show it is offensive and it's not fair because it's very challenging to get a movie up and out there, regardless of what you think about the final product. And so, out of respect for them, I watch and see every single film before I do an opinion on it. Okay. You can be guaranteed I've seen it because I think it's just rude that people badmouth something without seeing it. I just don't know how you could possibly do that, but that's me. Okay. I don't get how you can diss anything if you haven't tried it. Okay. You may just think, like, you may just say, I don't like it because I don't like the look of it. I don't like the smell of it when it comes to foods like okra. Oh, Lord, my father loves okra and I can't even get near this stuff. But, and I tried it once and just thought, no, but I just don't like the smell, the look, that everything about it is no to me. So that's one of those things that I can understand with food. Sometimes the look of it, the texture, all of that, no. But movies are different and you should at least give them a chance, you know. Stream it, watch it when it's free on Prime, or you can get it on Netflix or something, you know. But yeah. um this new film with Tom Hanks is very good. My Name is Otto, or whatever it's called, but it's a remake of a foreign film that's way better, and you can get that film on Canopy. If you heard of Canopy, you have a library card, you get 10 if you watch it. Yeah, look, it's not called My Name is Otto, though. I'll have to tell you what the name of it is. It's brilliant. The original film is brilliant. This one with Tom Hanks is pretty good, but the original is better, as is often the case. Yeah, often the case. Yeah. We were talking about Titanic and how it's really good to see the Cameron version, but the one you want to see is A Night to Remember. It's the British version about the Titanic. It's brilliant. You really feel it. Old movie, Joe. Maybe one that your group might want to talk about if you don't already. A Night to Remember. Brilliant, brilliant movie. And just get you right here. Yeah, so good. Yeah, so good. David, an actor in a costume beats a tennis ball on a stick. It does. And David, you can see when they use tennis balls on a stick, can't you? You can really feel it when the whole thing is a green room where the actor really has to draw on some serious inner stuff to make you believe they're in that environment. Most Marvel films, yeah. Yeah, that may be why I'm not a Marvelite. I just don't like that. Yeah, it's just ugh, for me. But Avatar is different. Avatar, they actually talk about how they make two films. They do the one with the performers, and they work to get the performance right, and then it's edited, and then it goes to the CG stage. That's when it goes to the CG stage. You see what I'm saying? So it's really wonderful to learn how a movie's made, and then to find out from the customer she made every single outfit in Avatar Way of Water in physical form, needle, thread, feathers, and all of that. To me, that's mind blowing. That is unflipping believable. so impressive to me. Let me just make sure I didn't miss an important. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Um, but yeah, just really when she talked about what it took for her to make the actual costumes and get that so that the actor who was doing performance capture could feel the weight, could feel what it was like and not be faking and then you put it in the computer later is very important. So I'm with you 100% on this. And I really wish I wanted her to know, like, she's going to watch my channel. I seriously doubt it. But just in case somebody says, hey, listen to what this girl says about your work, I wish she had been nominated for costumes. I would have loved to have seen the actual ones because that's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. It does, however, allow you not to have to do the actual patterns in fabric because they're never seen. So that could look a little wild. I don't know how many of you remember, because it's older and I'm older, so forgive me for going so far back, but Bewitched. Bewitched first started in black and white with Elizabeth Montgomery. And so when they made the costumes for that series, and you can Google, it's on the Roku channel, I think, for free. I'm sure it's on others that are free, YouTube probably. But if you watch those early shows when it's black and white, they used different colors to create vibrance in black and white, in the black and white television show. And then they went to color, and you see some of the most ghastly colors that they put the actors in, and you go, oh, that's not working. And that's because they just shifted the color without changing the costumes. And it is a shock when they do that. You're like, oh. Especially Elizabeth Montgomery's mother, played by Agnes Moorehead. She's wearing like a green scarf and a purple outfit with her red hair. It's like a collision of yuck. But that's because they were using it for non-color filming, and then all of a sudden they went to color. I'm sure the customer was like, thanks, guys. Thanks. But that's what I'm talking about. So this is the cool thing about learning behind the scenes, which is what I love more than anything, is learning about behind the scenes. So cool. So cool. I will always love it. Yeah, I'll always love it. You're already in my classic movie group, Terry, for at least 3 years now. See how much I visit it, Joe? My apologies, but see how much I visit it? Life right now, all about my parents. Yep, it's all about my parents, about my parents, about my parents. Them was the first horror movie I was allowed to watch when I was a teenager. Oh, Linda, the stories I have about it. Uh, uh, James Whitmore plays, as you know, one of the police officers in them. I love this movie. I know it backwards, forwards, and upside down. I can watch it with my ears. That's how well I know it. And he was at a Screen Actors Guild Q&A session, and they handed out, while we stood in line to meet with him and have a talk with him. We were in an audience. It was like the Actors Studios kind of a thing, if you've seen that show, where you have a commentator and the person's asking the questions, wah, 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 and then the actor answers them, yeah, wah, 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 wah. And you got these cards, and you ask questions. Well, my burning question was, what was it like to shoot on the film Them? And when we all sat in our chairs and got our seats and stuff, and James began to talk about his experiences throughout his film history, of which he has a good one, the commentator began to see that he was running out of questions, and James was getting irritated, older man, getting irritated of sitting there like a lump, and the questions weren't coming at a regular pace. And he was like, Jiminy Christmas, what are with these questions? He actually kind of said, man, these questions are, I don't think he said these questions are lame, but he basically went, what are these questions? Ugh. Don't you have a good one in that pile? He said, don't you have a good one in the pile? The board. And when you're someone, that's been in this position, you're trying to do your best, but now you're a little flustered because you want the actor to feel comfortable, and you feel embarrassed because there you are with the hot lights on you, looking not so great. So he dug through the cards as quickly as he could. There's got to be one here, please, Lord. Let there be one. Let there be one. And he landed on mine. I don't think he understood it because his facial expression was, So I'm not so sure I should. Okay, so what the heck is this question? I don't think I've seen this movie. I wonder if he'll be offended if I ask the question. Oh, what the hell? I'm in the soup. So he asked about the movie Them to James Whitmore, and James stood up and looked across the audience and said, "Who is the person who asked that question? Where are you? And please stand up." And of course, it was yours truly. And I stood up and smiled. And he said, "Thank you for a wonderful, fantastic question." And he said, "Why did you ask that question?" I said, "It's my favorite movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it well over 100 times," which was true. And he said, "Okay, I will answer it for you." And he looked right at me when he answered the question. It was really a very special time in my life that I won't forget. And he told me stories of behind the scenes which were absolutely priceless, which I won't tell you today. But if on Friday you ask me if you really want to know about them, I'll tell you. It's fantastic, fantastic. Behind the scenes. Back in the day of black and white films, there wasn't a lot of behind the scenes data because they just didn't think people were interested. But people like me, that's what we hang on. We hang on it. We love it so much. Just tell us all of the trials and tribulations you had, okay, when doing it. Good, bad, don't care, want to know. Seriously, if it's a movie I like, sometimes even a movie I don't like, I want to know about what it took. Not a big fan of the Harry Potter films, but I love the behind the scenes. The behind the scenes on the Harry Potter films are so fantastic that I love the films. So you pick what you love about it. You cherry pick why you love it. And yeah, wow, incredible, just incredible. The Rockstar ad was for some kind of office service, work something. Yeah, it's really working, isn't it? But thanks for playing. First horror movie I was allowed. First horror movie I was allowed. Fat Finger. No, Linda, I got it. No, I got it. Please, I understand. Spell check can mess with you. Absolutely. Yeah, I taught my dad how to talk to text, and I don't know what he said, but it came out, "Take off the bra." I know that's not what my dad wanted to say to me. Spell check is a stinker. That's why you got to read what you say. But please, you don't have to apologize. I really thought, I mean, Linda, I got what you were saying. Yes, I got it. So thank you for saying, telling me what was going on. But yeah, don't worry about that. It's me. It's me. I do it all the time. Yeah, you worked on Minority Report. No, Joe, I did not. But I went to learn about Minority Report because I really was fascinated by some of the things I saw in this film. So I went to a talk with Tom Cruise and Colin, and I think Max von Sydow was there, and I know Max from Dune. We became good friends on Dune. So the 1984 version. But anyway, I went because of that and because my husband adored it and my husband had a burning question. So I stood up and asked the question. And I was a Foster Farms chicken, which is a West Coast commercial. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, look in my playlist under Foster Farms and you can see my puppet chickens that have made me rather famous on the West Coast or infamous, whichever one works. And Tom Cruise was a huge fan. Huge fan of the Foster Farms chicken. So that touched my heart very much. But my point is that Colin talking in his brogue, it just blew me away because I really thought he was an American, American with the like Irish American or Scottish American or me, who is person of color and also Native American and also et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean. Lives in America, but has a background. Yeah. Call it as Irish. Don't call him English. Joe, you're not getting what I'm saying. Okay. Let me translate again that he was an English speaking actor. His English character, a person who speaks English without any kind of evidence of an accent, in Minority Report is phenomenal. I had no idea he had such a brogue when he relaxed. is what I'm saying. The whole time I was there with him sitting up on stage, he talks like he does in Banshees of Inisherin, to the point to where in some cases I didn't understand him. So that English speaking American accent is phenomenal in Minority Report. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch it again. It's worth it to watch it again, actually. Fabulous movie. Okay. Winnie the, yes, cute. I knew it was coming. Thank you, Joe. Monumental milestones like The Cat from Outer Space and Super Dad. You're kidding. I knew you were. Disney in the last 20 years has made a noticeable effort to treat Walt and the Nine Old Men like mascots instead of actual artists who built the company they took over. If they speak of them at all, Joe. A lot of times they won't even mention them now, which is one of the campaigns I'm on. Yeah. Don't get me started on that one this late in the game, I'll tell you. I feel too that that the Disney 100 was lacking of actual Disney history. The company seems to be focusing more on current movies in the past 25 years or so and just gloss over the earlier films, which is a shame because the earlier films are incredible. I know it's hard to cover everything in a minute clip, but it should focus more on the history of films and parks in the past 100 years than just going to the recent films. I agree, because that's not 100 years, is it? What is that, past 40 years? It's not the 40th anniversary. The last 40 years. No. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Joseph. I agree. I think that you're absolutely right. Let's talk about 100 years. In fact, a lot of people were talking to me about the fact that you've got, Steamboat Willie, and then you've got Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Oswald was not first, but what are some of the first things that Disney did that put him on the map, that got people excited and led him to being able to do Snow White, the film, right? I'm with you on that. Yeah, absolutely. Dance of the Flowers and what is it? There was another one that made me think of the early stuff the Alice comedies, not Alice in Wonderland, the movie, but the Alice comedies that starred Virginia Davis. Those are amazing. And those were when Walt was still working to make a name for himself. So although they might not be encompassed in 100 years of Disney, they kind of are a catalyst to catapult it into that, which would be nice to know, because a lot of us know the most recent movies. So it would be nice to see what did they do to get us here. But I agree, they may not want to emphasize that. That's what it feels like, right? Yeah. It's just logical to see a film before you can criticize it. Some people criticize the production of the filmmakers or the actors rather than the film. That's patently unfair and dishonest. Yeah, and a waste of time, in my opinion. Your opinion is not, if you think you know what the film is, then, and you're going to review it in that respect, I'm not interested in it either, Joe. I'm with you on that. Jeanette, hello, my darling. Love to see you live again. Live! I'm doing my best, my friend. I'm doing my best. Thank you for saying that, Jeanette. Love you a bunch for saying that. The set of the original Addams Family is shades of pink, as it held more definition in black and white. Richard, you got it. Can you imagine if they suddenly went to color without telling the people of the production people of the Addams Family? It would look like Pepto-Bismol. Just put a big bottle in the middle and the Addams Family advertised Pepto-Bismol. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what I'm talking about. When you have black and white, you can play with the colors because they don't matter. It's all about how they read in black and white. And how fascinating is it to do this with your brain? Do you know what I mean? You're the art director on a black and white film, and now you're using the color things to get you what you want to see in the black and white. Pretty friggin' cool. Yeah, really cool. And really interesting. Yes, indeed. Very, very interesting. It's a lot different than desaturating a color film. That is not what they do. No. Joe says, on the one hand, I'm sure I like the idea of remaking them, seeing as how so much of the product much a product of its time, post-war, early nuclear. However, another part of me is intrigued by by how a remake could be done with today's filmmaking technology. Yeah, and if they do CG, it's gonna suck. I'm sorry, it's just gonna suck. I think, yeah, it's just gonna suck. Please don't make it if you don't understand it, is what I'm saying. Did you see the remake with Keanu Reeves and Day the Earth Stood Still? It's like, missed it. Completely Day the Earth Stood Still. You missed everything you could have done on that movie. Oh, dear Lord. Pain, the pain. That's what I want. Please don't remake it if you don't want to take the time to study it, is what I say, Joe. Hello, Mark Silverman. James Cameron pretty much remade them when he made Aliens, even down to the catatonic little girl walking around with a doll and all these scenes, burning all the eggs. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I just want ants. But I don't need a remake of the ants. I just go watch them. Because Mark, I love them. I love the soundtrack. I love the dust. I love, oh, there's just so much. I even love the bad ants. The sound, all of it. Oh gosh. And the woman who falls, because she's wearing heels in the desert. How brilliant is this idea? She's wearing a skirt and heels in the desert. She's wearing a suit, a woman's suit in the desert. Of course she's going to fall down the hill, which we all wait for every time in 1950s horror films. She's going to fall, and she does. And you just eat it up because it's so good. It's so good. Happy birthday, Blaine Gibson, February 11th. My hero. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I don't think I knew that. Okay. I just want to make sure nothing is in there about my dad. I hate that, guys. I'm sorry that I have to look at my phone. Old Mill. Yeah? What is your absolute favorite romance movie? Ooh, a tough one. Ooh, there's two that just came right to the front of my head. First one is A Little Romance. Have you seen that? Dun 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 dun. Oh, my husband, it's not his film. He doesn't think it's that good. But I love it, love it, love it, love it. And it's one of our favorite actresses is a little girl. She does a great job. And she's in Paris when she meets a French boy. And I love it. And it's got Sir Laurence Olivier, who plays the old man. It's so good. I'm sorry. It's my guilty pleasure. If you watch it and you go, why it's smarmy. I can't help it. That I love. And then the other one I think is really, really super fun is Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks. It's a remake, yes, but I love what they did with it. I love how they did it and what they did with it. Every once in a while, a remake comes along and they just put a new spin on it, and you can love the early one and you can love the later one, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's charming, 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 charming. And it's just so charming. There's a scene where she is across the street and he is coming with his family off the beach, and they see each other, and you just feel the electricity. It's wow, what a film. What a film. Those are my two. Yeah. And then if you want to go animation, of course, Lady and the Tramp, all right? Who says the lovers have to be human? I hear the sound of ants make from them every now and then, and I go into a panic. I hear it in my neighborhood. Maybe it's something to do with the gardener's equipment. I don't know. But you remember, what was it that the guy hit a high, was it not a cable to do the lightsaber sound for Star Wars? Put the microphone on it, that sound. My husband keeps telling me that, and then I heard them say it. But wow, sound effects. Really cool. Really cool. Right, Mark? Super fun, right? Yeah. No, I have not. I don't really watch a ton of older movies, but being arrived to whom but being married, I think, to whom I am, Bryce, is Lynette to a T. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you are right. Yes, Jessica, you're absolutely right. Bryce is. But Bryce, I'm sure he's told you, they used to have a family night and watch these films. And his mother, Lynette, which you probably also know through The Amazing Bryce, is that she loves musicals. In fact, my best friend, Lynette, is the one who got me interested in musicals because I'm not someone who likes musicals. Musicals do not do it for me, except for Sound of Music. For some reason, that one does. I love Sound of Music, watch it all the time. Love it, love it, love it. But she introduced me to Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which the first time I saw it, I thought it was terrible. But then she sat with me and sort of helped me to understand the purpose of the musical and why a musical is fun and all that kind of stuff. I can't watch all musicals again, but there are certain ones that I can handle. She loves things like Meet Me in St. Louis. The only thing I like about Meet Me in St. Louis is Margaret O'Brien as the little girl who buries her dolls. Love that. But most of the time, people singing their dialogue just doesn't help. Unless it's something like Nightmare Before Christmas. What's this? What's this? I don't know why that's any different. Other than it's stop motion actors instead of human actors, but musicals just don't do it. For in Academy, Jessica, La La Land was everybody loved La La Land. I like watching La La Land with the sound off. I don't like the singing. I don't like the story, but I love that it's in Hollywood and I look at things that I know. So I like looking in the background and seeing where they shot it. But other than that, the movie just doesn't do it for me at all. Cannot stand it. But I know everywhere they filmed. And so for me, I just get a kick out of that. So I turn the sound off, let them do whatever they want to do silently, and it's a fabulous movie for me to watch. Ooh, that's a really good one too. I just watched Where the Crawdads Sing last night, and it gave me the Notebook and Fried Green Tomatoes vibes, and it was actually better than expected. Way better. I just bought it. I loved that movie. I love that movie. Lynette has a friend who's an author, and I think the reason I jumped on that was that I mistook that movie for her author friend's book because her author friend is getting her book or has already her book made into a movie. And so I immediately thought that was the same. And the one that I'm speaking of is Marsh King's Daughter. So I didn't have the title in my head, Jessica, at the time, but I jumped to watch it. Oh, this one is so good. It's so well done. Wow, it's incredible. And it's like you say, I like what you're talking about. The two vibes there, very well said, my dear. Just really, yeah. Whoa, that movie's incredible good. Really, really good. Yeah. In fact, I wanted to watch it today, but I got to do my homework. I got to finish watching the Old Man series because I got to vote on it. Did you see? Oh, but I have to vote on? Yes. I got to get that done. Um, I like You've Got Mail and The Shop Around the Corner. These are brilliant. And these are also like that one, aren't they? Like Sleepless in Seattle. But face it, Sleepless in Seattle has got some bits that are just classic, Holly. I cannot forget some of the classic moments that crack me up. The scene where the wife, Rita, played by Rita, Tom Hanks' wife, she talks about An Affair to Remember, which was called something else, which is Affair to Remember I like with Cary Grant, but the one before is better with that wonderful actor who says Paula. He's a favorite of mine, Paula. I may not remember his name, but I sure remember he's in Gaslight. He plays the heavy in Gaslight. He's wonderful. And he talks like this in Paula when he says Paula. Oh, Paula. Oh, he's amazing. Anyway, that's the movie I like of Affair to Remember. Affair to Remember is Cary Grant, but the one before it is the one I like. I like this Cary Grant one. It's not that I don't, but I love the one before it. Anyway, this one, Rita's talking about An Affair to Remember and she gets emotional. She's talking about the scene where he comes in and she's not getting up from the couch and she starts to cry and say, she doesn't realize. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful scene in Sleepless in Seattle because the men talk about the Dirty Dozen. I'm pretty sure it's Dirty Dozen or Kelly's Heroes. And they go, yeah, we know. And remember when he got shot and blew. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's like one of the best scenes. And of course, the classic scene is I'll have what she's having. So it's Sleepless in Seattle has just got some incredible moments in it that are just charming, sweet, wonderful. I got that wrong. I'm having what she's having is different. That's a different movie. That's another one I like too. I got those mixed up. But my point is that I forget the name of that one. That's Billy Crystal, and I forget the other actress in the one where I'm having what she's having. So I got those mixed up. But the Sleepless in Seattle is just so charming, precious, wonderful, and makes me want to go up in the Eiffel Tower and see it. Not necessarily on Valentine's Day, but I think across the board the acting is really sweet. You can tell me. I know Joe will. What movie is the one I'll have what she's having? Because it's not coming to mind right now. But it's another one that's good. It's another fun one. That's good. Yeah. But I agree with you, Holly. Love both of those too. Shop Around the Corner is really charming. I think that's the one where we have Cuddles playing the owner. This actor who was known as Cuddles. Boy, what an adorable actor. But I could be wrong because there's a couple of those versions that are like Shop Around the Corner. So I may not have that right. But yeah, most romantic scene, James Stewart kissing Donna Reed in It's a Wonderful Life. It is a lovely and romantic scene. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Of course, you love to hear the little girl at the end. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Yeah, yeah, that's a fun one too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely love it. Jimmy Stewart is a brilliant actor anyway. You just love watching Jimmy Stewart in just about anything that he does too. Yeah, absolutely. See, we're talking these old movies, these warm. See, this is what you can do too. How about a movie night with that person you love as you watch your favorite, movies? Yeah, yeah, your favorite, whatever they are, whether they're, Pulp Fiction, which has its love story parts in it, or It's a Wonderful Life. Why not? Christmas in February. Yeah, because it's a love story. Terry, what do you think about the effort by the city of Los Angeles to ban rodeo and almost all other types of equestrian events that deem abusive? They've even shut down the pony ride at Griffith Park. Yeah, Joe, I got to tell you, that pony ride I didn't think was abusive. I'm not quite sure how they were they abusing the animals at Griffith Park? As a little kid, I rode that all the time. It's what made me want to own a horse. So that one confuses me. Rodeo, I know that if you're doing bucking horses and bulls, they use a strap across the back to irritate the animals so they'll buck. This to me, I've always thought wasn't a good idea. But in today's world, they don't want animals to be abused. In today's world, they're taking action on abusing the animals. So how can we do a rodeo? I mean, roping the cattle is not abuse. This happens in cowboy life. A bucking horse, they have, we have lots of green horses. That's a horse that has not yet been broke. I don't know the dangers of having green broke horses in a rodeo. An actual cowboy would have to tell me, but why not do that? Or at least explore that. There have been some gorgeous rodeo moments. There's a video I absolutely love where a young girl paid homage to her father and trainer, and she rode in the rodeo arena without reins and without a saddle. She rode bareback on the horse and showed how she could get the horse to gallop, trot, turn left, turn right, just by the use of her body. An absolute magical marriage between animal and human. Owning a horse is a real special experience. And if you really dive into it and really focus, the symbiotic relationship between you and a horse is more than just having a pet. A pet serves a different purpose. A horse is a partner, someone that you work with together in order to achieve a task, whether it's trail riding, barrel racing, which I used to do. I used to do endurance training with my horse back then, not anymore. I'm too old for that. But I remember learning how to do the slide. None of it abused my horse. My horse, my trainer we would look at horses, find out what I wanted to do, and then find a horse that fit that bill. So if I wanted to do barrel racing, we had to find a horse that could turn on a dime. It's like roping cattle too. But a lot of this stuff happens in actual ranch, for either their entertainment or their lifestyle. And so I think you need to not just put a blanket over it, but look at certain, like bucking bulls and broncs. They're irritating the animal. When they do that, they put a belt across the back so the animal will buck. But we've got so many wild horses out there. Why not have a couple and bring them into the fold? And if you want to ride a bucking bronco, ride a real one. Why do you have to ride a fakey one? You know, be a cowboy and let me know. I've never had any interest in doing that at all. I think some of the people that are most craziest, but the most generous are rodeo clowns. I remember as a kid, I was like, oh, there's a different job for a clown. Holy cats, that's amazing. You know, um, but I think there needs to be more. I don't think you can say abuse across the board unless you've been there and seen it abuse across the board. But I know for barrel racing, my horse was never abused. No, in fact, my horse loved it. My horse would have barrel raced without me. In the beginning, I had to hang on for dear life, and then I had to learn how to work with my horse, who was so smart, so that I didn't screw my horse up when barrel racing. Same with the slide. You know how the horse rides, and then they do that slide, which is seriously cool. But your horse, a lot of times, loves doing that stuff. You get a horse that likes it, boy, forget it. They don't even need the rider. So that's what I'm talking about. I've ridden horses ever since I was 13. My mom kept telling me when I loved boys, I would forget about horses. Never happened. Obsessed with horses. Love them, love them, love them. I've owned 3 in my life. I've had the pleasure of owning 3, and every single one had a special personality, and I love them. And having them in my life and teaching me what horseback riding really means is incredible. So I cannot address Griffith Park because I don't know how those horses were treated, nor, I'm sorry to say, did I decide to look into it. But there are people out there that want to look into it, and maybe they found something. I don't know. But that's my answer to that. I hope it helps. Bucking horses and bulls buck naturally. They don't need to be hurt to buck. The owners would never risk their investments by abusing the animals. In fact, the animals are actually very well cared for. The cowboys are the ones who are abused. And there you go. So you see, I just remember that my cousin was a cow. He still is a cowboy, but I haven't seen him in a while. He pointed out the strap that goes across the back behind the saddle. There's a strap that irritates the animal and makes them buck. So I think that's where that's coming from, Joe, if you really want to know. I think that's where that's coming from. This statement that people are saying. Yeah, but I don't think you should wipe it with a big brush. I think you need to talk to cowboys and research with cowboys. Don't just wipe it out. Find out if it's true, because we race horses. It's abuse to raise a 2-year-old. They're very developed. They're very underdeveloped, and you see how they're dying, on the racetrack. This is, I'm not so sure racing horses is a good idea, at the racetrack. So, you open one can, it can lead to another. Yeah. And it doesn't mean it shouldn't. It just means let's research it, right? Let's look into it and see what it actually is. Cirque du Soleil has an amazing show with horses called, yes, isn't that amazing? I've seen it. The Love Between Animal and Man. And David, don't you just love those trick riders? I mean, first of all, they're trick riding, and then they're trick riding across a stage. That is symbiotic relationship. That is the real appreciation of a horse appreciating the man and the man appreciating the horse. Seriously, unflipping believable to see them do it across a stage instead of an arena or oh, wow. I remember when I first saw that show, my jaw fell off at some of these riders. Incredible. Incredible. Wow, guys, this was a lovely talk. We almost went 2 hours. And I wanted to do the 2 hours today because you guys, we haven't had a chance to really talk. And doctors have not reached out to me. So I want to thank you for distracting me. Interesting. I don't know what that means, but okay. All right. I'm just checking to make sure that the doctors didn't call me and I thought it was a bad thing, but I really don't think so. I'm just going to check really quick while I got you guys here. And no, don't do that to my thing. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm like, see, the minute I go back into this, I get terribly, terribly distracted, and I don't want to do that. But the only two, thank God, those doctors did not call me. I'm going to try and see if I can call the nurse now and get the doctors to call me when they get a minute. All touch and go, guys. I will tell you, always touch and go. What have we got here? We've got, as an equestrian my entire life, says Jessica, and barrel racer, and I'm on a rodeo team. The broncs they use in rodeos are taught to buck like that, and they are not green broke or even halter broke. The back cinch or bucking strap is a means to make them buck higher. Okay, that's what my cousin Cowboy was telling me. It was telling me about it. So I'm really glad you're weighing in on this, Jessica. If you have questions on the cowboy side of such, ask away. I've dealt with everything there is, but I know the poor pony rides that I've seen are terrifying. They have no weight requirements, and I am too obsessed with horses. Poor Bryce is finally something. Understanding, maybe. Yeah, is what you were saying. I'm really glad that you wrote that, because that's right. I remember that Bryce and family told me you were an equestrian. And I have to tell you, my equestrian years are way, like, I had a horse about, I think my last horse I had was, gosh, it's probably about 10 years ago, Jessica. She was lovely. Her name was Velvet. And it took forever for me to choose her. But once I chose her, I absolutely loved her. And she was someone I could just go like this and use my legs. It was a training that I asked to do because I had seen this girl do it at a rodeo, and I just thought it was so cool. So I would just use my body, which is something that, this city girl, and I am a city girl, a little country in it, but city. And being able to work with her in this way just brought tears to my eyes, because we were one unit. And I know, talking to you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, so that strap, if that strap was eliminated, what I sense you are saying, Jessica, is they'd still buck. So that might be what people are talking about, maybe. But yeah, maybe we can weigh in on this rodeo thing Friday a little bit more, and you come on, and you pop in the comments and talk a little bit about it, because you're there firsthand. You know all about it. Me, I did it for a couple of years. I did mostly endurance, though, which is a very lonely experience. You do it by yourself, but it's really fun because I love being outdoors and I loved trail riding. I did it with my first horse, Samurai, who was 17 inches tall. I taught him how to bow, so that so he would bow with the one leg, and then I'd get up, and then he'd stand up to his full 17 hands, and people were just blown away at how cool this horse looked. And I made a big flourish out of it because, I'm naturally a performer. But wow, it was really incredible. We just went on classic trail rides, but then I was approached by someone who said, this horse really looks like he has the potential for endurance riding. And that's when they step between rocks and we walk on the edge of a mountainside. And oh, in my courageous years, now I think too much about my life. And I'm not so daring anymore, Jessica. But wow, those were some fun times. And I actually have an award or two around here where I placed like third or something. But I really enjoyed it. Mainly, I just learned finally why people love horses and why they have. I think it even feels weird to say you own a horse, because it's like I own my partner. I mean, it was the first time I realized that a horse is a partnership, not a pet. I mean, I guess there's people out there that have horses as pets, but you're really doing yourself a disservice, because being able to get there and work together as a unit, oh my gosh, it's magical. It is a magical experience that I love. I love. If I thought I could own a horse and do it justice here in the city, I would do it. But My life is too crazy right now to own a horse, and I don't want the horse in a box stall or a pen without getting the connection and the bond that I think they want just as much as I do, you know. So, boy, I really appreciate you saying um what you say, you know. David says, "Thanks, Terry. Goodbye to everyone. Enjoy your day." Yes, you know I'm about ready to sign off, don't you, David? What are you, psychic? I apologize. Ever since my rodeo accident that happened, I sometimes don't make sense. Yes, it makes me cry when I got my 18-year-old mare. My mare got hurt New Year's. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I had a husband before my dear Lindsay who rode his horse. He galloped his horse because he wouldn't listen. I'm sure, Jessica, you've run into this rider. He wouldn't listen. And the poor thing, he ran it through sand and it bowed her tendon. And bowing a tendon, it's over for a lot of horses. And I just couldn't believe that trainer tried to restrain his upset and his anger. And I was like, you can't just jump on a horse and then tell people how to ride it. You got to listen to those that know, so that you treat it with respect. And so abuse, possibly, Jessica, when you've got people who think they know everything and don't want to listen to those who are in the know, this can easily happen because you don't know what you don't know. So, man, people, I went riding one day with some people in Thousand Oaks, very wealthy people, who ran the horses all the way home and then threw them in the stall. No cool down, no curry comb, no brushing, no let me take care of you so that you don't get sick or colic or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Not the call I want. But yeah, yeah. I mean, and they were people who said they were horse people. Yeah, they were horse people, but they never had a lesson. It's kind of like a dog owner who doesn't know about crate training. So we could do a whole show on this. Seriously, Jessica, we really could. Endurance is amazing. My mare is 17.3. I understand that. Bryce's gelding is 15.3. And it's the funny, I'll bet it is. What, his legs walk with the horse? What is it, like the Flintstones, Jessica? 15 hands. Oh my God. Well, at least it's not 12. But I thank you for that visual, Jessica, because that's funny. I always crack up when I see big tall cowboys on ponies. Oh my gosh, it drives me. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, you just made my day. Thank you, sweetheart. Joe says, also need to talk on Friday about what's going on in the Yellowstone universe. Several recent developments. I love Yellowstone, but I love it because it has real cowboys in it. What a brilliant idea that is. Yeah, I keep telling my agent, could you see if you can get me a part on that? They can just put me in the background riding a horse. You don't even have to include. I just want to say I did that show. I don't even need a line. I just would love to be on that show. Yeah, truth be told. All right, guys, as many. One more, Jessica, because I hate that so much. Stop and listen to your horse. They buck or bite or tell you in the only way they can. This is 100,000% true. Rodeo riders now a days drug their horses just to run. And yes, Flintstones, exactly. I'd love to take you on a trail ride. I led guided tours on horseback. It's amazing. I own one for you. Haha. They are part of me. Even after my accident, January 21st, I'm just glad with my brain damage, I don't lose my horse knowledge. I'm really glad too. And I'm really, really glad that you took the time to talk to us about it today, because now, Jessica, you're opening up, you're kind of saying why people are reacting to the rodeo. It sounds like it's being poisoned by those who won't listen. That's what it sounds like to me. And that's really something. Oh my God, Yellowstone is my favorite. Absolutely love to meet Beth. I know Beth is a rock star, isn't she? Like a rattlesnake in an outfit, right? Just don't mess with her. She's like my favorite character too. And she has a British accent too. Her American accent is brilliant. Speaking of that, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, guys, do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. Have a lovely Valentine's Day. I can think of a couple of fun horse type Valentine's Days for Jessica and Bryce, but you guys have a lovely time. Thank you for making this such a joy to do today. It distracted me from worrying about my dad, and I love you guys for this. Mwah. Those of you in Terri's tribe, thank you so much for sharing your stories. Remember, patreon.com/Terri Hardin if you want to go, but please let your voice be heard, be a part of it. It's $5 a month. I mean, just skip a Starbucks coffee in order to come join us. You really, I don't think you're going to regret it, but it's worth dipping your toe in the water to see. Please consider it. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. Come join us. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Rattlesnake in a cooler, Joe says. Yeah, speaking of accents, Beth Dutton is actually British. That's what I'm talking about, Jessica. She does it so well. That's what I'm saying. Killer good, really good. Have a good weekend, everybody. And Susan says, there you go. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you Friday. Be well, be happy, and thank you for making my day.